It's believed that the most powerful thing in the world is love, but there is something even more powerful than love. I'm going to explore this right here on Vintage Wisdom. Don't go away. It's going to be one of the most powerful things you've ever heard of. I'll be right back. Hello, I'm Ed Montgomery, aka Dr. Ed. Welcome to our show. Welcome to Vintage Wisdom. Thank you for being a part of today. Vintage Wisdom, of course, it talks about the new wine. In other words, fresh new wine. You don't take new wine and put it in old wine skins, as the ancient text actually says, because wine skins are just what they were, wine skins. So when the new wine would ferment, it would expand, the gases would expand. If you were in old wine skins, then the old wine skins would be completely expanded because they're old. And when you put new wine in old wine skins, they can't expand anymore. Guess what happens? They break. What's happening right now is we're trying to put these new spiritual truths into old structures or new concepts, new ways of living into these old structures, these old religious, old philosophical, old structures. And these structures are collapsing. They are falling apart. So that's what Vintage Wisdom is. We're shifting and changing the structures. So thank you for joining us. I'm Ed Montgomery. I am your host, spiritual leader of ALC Abundant Life Center. We do Sunday mornings, Sensational Sunday, which gives a little bit added length to what we're doing here. This is different. I don't know if you call it more of a teaching thing. I don't think so. Well, maybe so. Sensational Sunday is more opening up of the spiritual concept. We try to merge this with everyday living right here on Vintage Wisdom. So make sure you share this with someone that you know. Share it, take your time, share it. Algorithms mean the most to us too, just like everybody else. Hit the like button, thumbs up, whatever you got. And if you're watching by YouTube, hit the subscribe button. That way you're notified every time we drop a brand new video. And we got some good ones out there right now. If you think this is you say, well, you know, I'm hearing a lot of people getting on the internet talking about their spiritual values and things of that sort, you know, blah, 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 blah. Look, I say blah, blah, blah too. I don't watch a lot of stuff either, but I get in and I watch what I say, watch what I do, and make sure that this is relevant to you and to your everyday living. Now, I was, one of the things that I kind of got into, and that is what's going on in our world, what's going on in our relationships. First of all, just normal. You and I, personal, making a connection. In this world that we're living in right now, we have to make connections. You can't live, I can't live in this world by myself. I know we say, I don't need anybody. I just either need the Lord or need a friend. I don't need anything but myself. Well, it can get pretty empty out here. It can get pretty lonely out here if the only thing you need is God. And God is not a warm body. God is a spirit. That's something you can't feel, something that you can't touch. And relationship is so important, especially right now, while everybody doesn't know who to like, who to trust, who's on their side, who's for them, who's against them. Look at what's happening. This whole political thing, this whole like political race. They call it a political race, and I'm starting to believe that's exactly what it is. Not black race, white race, or what, but which are not races at all anyway. But it is a political race. This race is political, politics. It's its own race, and it's got us so divided in our country. It used to be you had friends. They weren't the same color as you, or didn't go to the same church as you, weren't the same belief, or have the same spiritual or religious beliefs as you, but you were friends. You could talk about these things, and if they went a little bit over the line, you can say, hey, you can't cross that line, man. You can't say that. Oh, I can't. No, you can't say that, man. And they get back across the line, and you keep your relationship developed, and you were able to open up. Everything wasn't perfect, but you were able to open up to each other, even relationships in love. If you cross the line racially, you're married to somebody, or living, or you're living together, or you just met each other and you're going out. Now it used to be people were saying they would look at you, but now they're wondering how in the world can they even be together? What do they believe? Does one believe this and the other believe that? Oh, it's relationship is walking on eggshells. Then you're looking at work and jobs, where you work. What can you say on your job? What can't you say? Who can you talk to? Who can't you talk? If you say this, is it harassment? If you don't say something, you just somebody that's all stuck up and nobody wants to talk to you, and hey, you got no personality. Where are we now? What kind of churches do we go to? What are they preaching about in church? More politics and things. And not, people may say, well, man, don't you preach politics or teach politics in church? No, I'm not talking about politics. I'm talking about image. I'm talking about who I am, who we are. I'm talking about history. And now you're looking at history. Are there states and cities and counties that are trying to erase certain history from school systems? Because the first thing, when people come after you, they come after you concerning how you see things. This is the first level concerning moving up that ladder toward love. Listen, a lot of people talking, well, I'm in love, or I love this, or I love that. I'd be willing to bet you that most of us have no idea or definition of what love is. And even if we did, who wants it? Who has time to even develop love? To be quite honest with you, there are steps, at least 4 steps before you have to go through before you can even get to love. And there is actually a higher level other than love. Ooh, this is what we call power. This is what we call powerful. This is what we call, that's changing how we relate out here. The world has us bottled up, and it's about to stretch this wine, this wine skin. There has to be a change concerning our spirituality. How we see things spiritually, politically, education, how we see things. If we don't change how we see things, we will never change how we see ourselves. And if we don't change how we see ourselves, we will never change how we see others. And if we can't change how we see others, what kind of relationships are we going to have? Who do we talk to? Our brothers and sisters, who do we even open up to? What kind of love relationship can we trust? Before we even get to love, we might wind up with our hearts broken, So I think there are levels to this. I always tell people, what levels would you call it? I think the first level, too, before you can even get to love, begins with see. Seeing is, how do I see you? How do you see me? It's communication. Someone else told me that the next level is how we tolerate, whether you tolerate me or whether I can tolerate you. But of course, that's not love. The next level is, do I respect you? Do you respect me? Respect is great. Man, I need somebody to if you're not going to care about it, but at least respect me. That's respect, but it's not love. Then there's honor. Do you honor me? Do I honor you? But that's not love. It takes all 4 of those before we even get to love. And then when we finally get to that powerhouse called love, what does that mean? Now, I'm getting ready to lay something on you, especially for those of you that are looking at this whole thing of Israel and Gaza and who can I trust in my own relationships, in my marriage, my friendships. These are places where my love is supposed to be, tight. So I think the first step we have is, number one, to be able to see each other. How we see. During the time of apartheid and when the Dutch Reformed Church, and a lot of people don't realize, but apartheid was formed, came right out of that Dutch Reformed Church. It's church, spiritual things connected with politics. And where you had 20% of the population ruling over 80% of the population. You think people, a minority ruling over the majority, you think there are people who don't want to do the same thing in America? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But one of the things that the Africans would say, there were Africans, those are the blacks, the Afrikaners were the white, the Dutch, the other, but the Africans would look at each other and they would say, when they passed each other, they would look at each other and take a long look, basically saying, I see you. Because the Afrikaners, the other percent of those in that apartheid system, acted as if I don't see you. See, that's why I'm a little careful with people talking about they're colorblind, or I'm colorblind. We're colorblind at our church. We're colorblind at this company. We're colorblind. And it makes me say, well, if colorblind means you see my color, but yet you're blind to it. You see me, but yet you're blind to what you are seeing. Colorblind means I pretend that you are not the color that you are. I'm blind to it. No, know who I am. And now see me. How do you see me? And seeing is not just a physical eye seeing. I see you with my eyes. I physically see you. No, seeing is about my awareness of you. I need my glasses to be able to see better, but seeing actually means it is an awareness of who you are. And my awareness of who you are and your awareness of me comes from my ability to communicate. Listen, this is why if you're meeting somebody that you really like, and you might even be considering falling in love with them. In other words, you're thinking this relationship can go a little bit further. I'm willing to take a higher step, a better step. Then the first thing I have to do is there must be an awareness of ourselves. Am I aware of you? Are you aware of me? I see you, but am I aware? That's that word see. Am I aware of more of who you are? Oh, my goodness. Can we sit together? Oh, we can sleep together. Of course we can sleep together. But can we sit together and unmask ourselves? We can sleep together and undress ourselves, but can we sit together and unmask ourselves and take the things off that we are covering our hearts with? Would you not like to uncover your heart to someone who would not break it? Wouldn't you want someone to see you for what your heart really is, not just what you want to portray to the outside world. And that's not easy, because you can find broken hearts like that. Broken hearts are strewn all over the place from people who have unmasked too quickly or didn't know the signs of the people that they were with. You know, that's why people talk about, they talk about sexuality, and they always say, well, you don't jump into bed with anybody that quick. I mean, we were hearing, well, I don't sleep with somebody on the first date. And people say, well, why not? Well, we know what that is. We understand what that is. And I'm not getting anybody's personal business, but we understand what that is. But if there is going to be something more to it, then you have to get to know who that person is. Some people would argue with me and say, why is that important? I mean, hey, the Bible says, and Adam knew his wife, but get to know him means to sleep with him. Well, that's not what that word know means. That word know means something else. I think that one of the most sensual things, I didn't say sexual, I said sensual here. Well, I could also say sexual, but sensual things, which is also a spiritual thing, is to even talk about it before you engage with it, to communicate, to see who that person is. What does that person want? What does that person feel that they need? What does that person like? And can that person express it? There's a kind of intimacy here when it comes to that. Now you're moving toward another era. That begins with communication. That's the first level. That's C. Now, of course, I can't go through all the levels, but I can tell you one thing. There's another level higher than love. You see, there's nothing higher than love. The scripture says, now abideth faith, hope, and love. The greatest of these are love. Right, the greatest of these three, faith, hope, and love, is love. But that doesn't mean it's the greatest of all. There's something higher than love. The highest thing, or the higher thing over love, is called mercy. See, when you get to Israel and Gaza, Israel says we have the right to defend ourselves. Gaza says you don't have the right to drop bombs on women and children and innocent people. People would say, well, if you just loved everybody, well, what does that mean? How does that feel? Is that a feeling? Is that an intellectual property? What does that mean? That doesn't stop anything. Well, I love myself and I love my country and I don't want people, I have the right to defend. But mercy is higher than love. What is mercy? What does mercy, when you look at Gaza, mercy says this: I could drop those bombs, but I'm not. Let's find another way. Mercy with Israel said, yeah, maybe they did. And what they did, we feel we should defend ourselves against them. But maybe we may need to hold up. Mercy says, put something to a halt. Let us find another way. And when two people come together with mercy, it's quite possibly you will find another way. Look, my time is up. I got to go. Look, and make sure you hit that text to give, 713-742-2035. That's 713-742-2035. If this helps, if this makes a difference, if this spirituality is opening things up for you, like 1 Corinthians 13, about that love thing, let it open it up for you. Click that text to give. All you do is type how much you're going to give. It might be $8. $8 and $9 are good times right now. We're in those first 2 months. Type it in and hit that number that you see right there on the screen. Or go to myalc.org. That's myalc.org. And you can go safely on our website online. Listen, thank you so much for your time. And thank you for loving me and I loving you. But more than anything, let's be merciful. Bye. Let me break in here for a second. I want to tell you a little secret. There is something I used to do. It was commodity trading. And they used to have something on the list called winter wheat. I never knew what it was, never paid any attention to it because in my northern background, all I saw in the winter was hard ground snow. How could anything grow? Well, I learned different. I learned that winter wheat was something that was planted around the fall, around September, October. And when it was planted, they didn't just throw the seed out there on the ground. Of course, it would be too hard. But they drilled down into the earth and almost like planted them one by one. Now, when the snow came and the winter came, it would go dormant. But when the spring came, it would come up again. And they would harvest it around that time. Winter wheat. In other words, there are things in our lives that we plant in times when people think they won't grow. There's a number 9 that I believe symbolizes finality. It symbolizes harvest. It symbolizes the end of something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10, you start all over again. This is 2024. 2, 2, 4 equals 8, new beginnings. But watch this. You can plant during the new beginnings, but you can't eat the harvest until later. When you plant something, it takes time. Sometimes it's dormant. Sometimes there's a winter. Sometimes you feel like everything is shut down, just like the earth is shut down in the winter. But you know what? Spring is coming. A different kind of growth is about to take place. So what you thought was not going to happen is going to happen. It's a seed that you plant in the earth. The seed and the need. The need is in the seed, and the seed is in the need. So whatever it is that you need, and whatever needs you see around you, plant it. It might be $9.90. It might be, for those of you who have it, and people have it, it might be $90.90, or it might be $99.90, whatever. Put a 9 in that offering. It might just be $9. Whatever it is, take the time. Plant it now. You can call the number. You can text to give. People love it. 713-742-2035. That's 713-742-2035. Or you can go to myalc.org. I love myalc.org. It's safe. It's secure. And you can hit that donate button, smash it, crash it, hit it. Let it be known that you're there. And you will see how to do it. Look, there are a lot of needs around in this world. There's going to be a lot of issues coming up. It's going to look like everything is lying dormant. But remember, if you put your seed in the ground, it's already coming up while you're not thinking about it. In the wintertime, it's not the heat from the sun outside that will grow this seed. Guess what? It's going to be the warmth of the sun inside that will make this seed come to life. It's going to be a warmth, like warm oil inside of you. Give, you'll feel it, and it will make a difference not only in the lives of others, but also in your life. All right? We love you. Stay blessed. Hey, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Hit that subscribe button, smash it, crash it. Let us know you're there.